Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at one of the last offerings from Mongoose from 2023, The Deep and the Dark. The Dark Nebula and Reaver's Deep sectors. These are kind of fabled sectors in Traveler. They're older sectors. They've been dealt with in a lot of different versions of the game. I was really excited to get my hands on this. This guy was written by Randy Dolman, ably written by Randy Dolman, I should say. We're going to take a look at the contents of the book and what you got. Here we get the introduction of what we're looking at in the Deep and the Dark. History of the buffer. A lot of the Deep and the Dark became a buffer zone between the Imperium and the Aslan and some other power groups down there, Salamani. And this book goes into a lot of the history, which I love. History in these. Nice artwork throughout the book. Lots and lots of Aslan information. If you're interested, it's in here. Some stuff on various Aslan, the border wars and Aslan clans, lesser clans, vassal states. Good history. I love the history of the buffer. I love any history for Traveler, for the known space. I'm sorry, charted space. Sorry, that's Larry Niven and me jumping out. For the charted space, I love it. And this is available right now as a PDF or a pre-order for the book. The book comes out sometime, I think, in the early second quarter of next year. But we get a nice look at the Savage Main, which became kind of a romanticized place, and lots of what we call TV shows were placed in it. And then we get the rise of the Salamani in the area, War in the Rim with the Imperium, and then we go to modern times. Love a good history recap of anything. So if you're going to be running the area or anything like that, having the history is really good because it helps you build your story, which is what I use the history for. Even if I'm not going to run something in there immediately, I still love reading this stuff because it just gets my mind going a little bit. We get a look at some of the lesser race aliens in the buffer, the Ayanshi, the Brewer, the Harpurani, we'll call them. Some of these names are tough. The Halons, Jadij, Iltherans. There's a sample of each and some interesting information on how to be a traveler. The Ormine and Tulyetre, Ulain, Varushi. We've seen the Varushi before. I think they were featured originally in one of the Journal of Travelers Aid Society and then in one of the later Traveler JTAS too. The Yin Tsai, and you can be a traveler from most of those. There's one or two that for social reasons wouldn't be appropriate because they don't really leave their home world. But now we got to look at the governments of the buffer, the Carillion Assembly, the Carter Technocracy, Confederation of Dunsane. The nice thing about this area is there's not an overarching Third Imperium keeping you down and not letting you do this or that. You can work for one of these different groups. This would work very nicely if you were looking to run a mercenary campaign. If you have the mercenary books, I've taken a look at a couple of those on the channel. This would dovetail nicely with any of the mercenary stuff because you don't have the Third Imperium holding everybody under their thumb, nor the Salamani, nor the Aslan. There's lots of conflict with these smaller governments. So lots of different governments here, which I love. The Khan World League, I just like the name of that one. Principality of Caledon. And all these different, now we go to the languages. And now corporations of the buffer. Corporations can very often drive a traveler story. I've used them, I don't know how many times, hundreds of times probably over the years. They make good bad guys or good employers or just good contacts. Corporations are very important in Traveler. Nice look at the various routes, the various corporations and what they do. And look at that, some big guns. The corporations hire mercenaries too, so that would be another way you could go. And then I like the artwork. The artwork is very nice, setting the mood. I really like that. And the beasts of the buffer. These are different animals that you could encounter out there. Lots of different little critters for you to put out there. I like that about the traveler books when they include some of the indigenous life on the various planets that they're detailing. And here we get some high guard for the buffer. And this is for a patrol frigate, tech level 14, a freighter, an intruder transport, a scout cruiser. Always got to have the scout cruiser. Salamani colonial transport, Salamani escort, a bulk carrier. Lots of good high guard in here. Colonial cruiser, armed packet, Aslan attack boat. And I don't ever limit myself. If I see a ship type that I like in one of these books, and even though I'm playing in a completely different region of charted space, I go ahead and I just take the ship and use it and just say it's a local ship. I've done that for years. Third Imperium territory, where the Imperium holds sway in the area in the deep and the dark. What the Imperial Navy does. The Reaver's Deep Sector Fleet. Imperial Interstellar Scout Service, pretty active in this area. The Imperial Army. Now we get the Salamani Confederation territory. Yes, they have lots of territory in this area. I really like that we get this nice cross section between the Imperium and the Salamani. If you're running a Salamani Rim campaign or something like that, this would be a good place for you to kind of branch off to. Salamani Security, Salsec, what they're doing out here. The Confederation Navy, the Army of the Confederation, the Home Forces, Interstellar Development Corporations, or Corps rather, private military companies. Again, there's your mercenaries, homesteaders, the mercenaries again. And now I got to look at the Aslan territory down here. And the Aslan have quite a bit. And Kusyu, their capital, lies in this area. So it's a rare capital. It's not in the heart of their territory. It's toward the edge and leaning toward the Imperium and Salamani. So lots of good looks at the at the Aslan. A lot of good look at the Salamani as well, but a lot of good looks at the Aslan, which I like. I love the way you can kind of build in Traveler 2nd Edition. If you really want to look at the Aslan, you've got the Alien Races books. You've got this. You've got a lot of stuff in other source books. It's nice. I like Aslan a lot. They appear in my campaigns often. And all the different clans. There you go. Tulaku and vassal clans, all kinds of different clans you can take a look at, corporations that the Aslan run. Just really cool. I mean, we're 133 pages into a 282-page book, and we're still dealing with the history and the local powers. Now we take a look at Reaver's Deep. We're going to take a look at the actual subsectors of it. There you go, Fair Rift Deep, Rift Rim, Gulf. I like these names. They're easy to pronounce. And then we get some of the local peoples. Haryarda. I had to say that it was easy to pronounce, right? Scotian Deep. I remember that back from the old days. Caledon. I always thought that came from Dune. That's Paul's home world. Night Rim. Just really cool. I love the history. I love how fleshed out this book brings it all. Kiar. Ea, or Ea, however you want to say it. I say Ea. Drexilthar. Sorry, that's a tough one too. This appeared in other products. And going through lots of background information on that. Urlakesh. Uta. Ioke. Ekoi. Or Akoi, depending on how you want to say it. Drinsar. Falnir. And now we go to Dark Nebula. Hopefully some of the Dark Nebula ones are easy to pronounce. Earl, that's pretty easy. Or do you say early? Earl. Aotroy. Aotrey. Nice artwork. I really like the mood the artwork builds in this. Rui. Akusir. Lots and lots of Aslan. Kianka. Aklar. It's so hard to say some of these. Yatao. Danvers. That one's pretty straightforward. CA. Kilray. Nice world of it again. One thing I did notice, and I am still a little disappointed, Mongoose doesn't give us a lot of people in these. I would like some samples here and there, especially of travelers, where it's an alien race, a lesser race we may not be familiar with. An example traveler, in my opinion, would help me kind of think it through. Kotoikada, I have no idea how to pronounce that one. Sometimes they just threw numbers or threw letters on a page and said, yeah, that's what it's called. Go ahead and pronounce it. Kimson Stand. Horore. Waiting for my art to load. There we go. Ko. Some nice artwork. I really like it. Yokyu. I think Mongoose puts together a beautiful source book. I really do. Style, I think. Secrets and Revelations. So this, what in the old D&D books would have been the GM section, the DM section. Only the one running the universe can know this stuff. So Secrets and Revelations are always fun. There's a lot of good ones in here. The Drenselar, there was old Drenselar Quest. I believe it was an old Keith Brothers. I forget off the top of my head which publisher, but it's an old original from Classic Traveler. But lots of good secrets in here. And another nice look at the polities of Reaver's Deep and Dark Nebula. And then, of course, a quality index. Book this thick, you need an index, and that's the back of the book. So there we have it, coming in at a beefy 382 pages, or 282 on my tablet. Very worth getting. I got this as actually a Christmas gift from my youngest son, Adam. Thank you, Adam. He bought me pre-ordered the hard copy book for me, and I, of course, got the PDF. And he was a stickler. I got the PDF on Christmas. So I've been enjoying myself reading it for the last couple of weeks as time has allowed. And that's why I wanted to present it to you now. So I do recommend it. Again, it's another one to add to your library. I like to add the sector books to my library just to have that information at my fingertips. They come with the nice maps. So whenever there's a sector book out, if I'm able, I try to order it, or in this case, get it as a Christmas gift. But there you have it. There's a quick look at it. I definitely recommend it. I think Mongoose hit it again. I'm looking forward to what they come out with in 2024. And no, I don't work for Mongoose. I know they know I exist, but they've never communicated directly with me about any of my Traveler stuff, which has always kind of surprised me that they've never reached out at least once. But here we are, another Traveler book that I highly recommend, and I think you'll enjoy. So that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.